Sorry, just getting that camera adjusted. And I think that's working okay. Although I just looked and my mat is crooked and so is my camera. Okay, let's do that. I think we've got that. Okay. All right, so I've got a live up. So, hello everybody. I know it's been like ages since I've done a live. Life has definitely returned to normal, the crazy normal, but crazy good normal, right? It feels good to be back and busy and that kind of stuff, although a little bit too busy. So I'd said I was going to try to do at least one live a month. I think in February I wasn't able to do it on a Friday, but I had tonight, so I thought I would do that. Hey, Elizabeth, good to see you here. So anyway, I thought I'd try tonight since I had some time tonight and could do it, and it feels good to be back. I miss it when I don't get to talk to you guys. So tonight I grabbed a couple of photos. I printed a bunch of photos earlier or last week and sorted them last weekend in preparation for a crop in a couple of weeks. And so I've got those done, but this is one of the ones that I've had for a while and I haven't scrapbooked yet. So this is M number 2, my obviously my second oldest grandson, and his older brother got a violin for Christmas of 2021 because this is from February of 2022. Hey Nancy, good to see you here. So I thought this would be, it was kind of a sweet moment. I mean, there's a lot of junk in the background and that kind of stuff, but my daughter-in-law caught him trying to play because he was he's interested in that. He still is not playing. My other grandson he's progressed so much. He's been playing violin now for over a year. And he is waiting. He decided he wants to learn to play the piano, and so he's waiting, but just really sweet. And he looks so little to me here because he's grown so much in the last year. But so anyway, I thought I'd do this, trying to get one of my older photos. And then the other thing I thought about is what paper lines haven't I used lately? And it's Chamel. So I grabbed my Chamel folders, of which I have 4 of them because I store in folders like this. These are Copper Hopper. Now this is a project one, so sometimes I just have a plain one, but with my bigger collections, I try to do that. So I grabbed that and just grabbed some things. So I thought this star paper was kind of a nice paper for this photo, like future star kind of idea. Thought I needed some sort of mat with this, so I pulled this sort of aqua green from this lined paper. I could also then use it for the maybe journaling, or I could do a journaling card. And then this film strip paper, which is kind of an outlier, right? But I'm not sure if you guys know this or not. Do you know what Calvin Ball is? So Calvin Ball is something that was started, I'm trying to remember who started it, but it's now on the Scrap Happy website. It happens every March from March 1st through the 31st. And it stems from Calvin and Hobbes, where Calvin and Hobbes used to play a game and then the rules would change constantly. So what happens is every day you get points for things you put on a layout. And every day those rules can change. So there are things that are permanent that stay all the time. For instance, right now, I believe it's die cuts and stars. Stars, I have my Chamel die cuts right next to me, so I'm going to try to grab some of that. And then there's other things. Oh, green is another one. So he has a tiny bit of green in his shirt, which I will count if I actually with this photo. And then there are things that there are also like points that I don't remember what they call them, but they're like bonus points for things that you put on the layout, but they can change. Like they're on there for 2 or 3 days and then they go away. There's also days where points double, or there are days where if you score under 10 points, you get more points for that. So it's just a crazy fun game, and I try to do it every year just to challenge myself a little bit about what I'm getting on a layout. Like, I know one of the things that's on there right now is a hedgehog, which I don't have any hedgehog things, but that's sort of a cute little nod to Calvin balls in the past if you've played them. I've been doing this probably, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 years where I do this. So anyway, Nancy, I'm glad you remembered Calvin ball. So if you're interested in it, go to the Scrap Happy website. You can join it anytime. And there's no prizes for Calvin ball. It's bragging rights. You don't even have to keep track of points if you don't want to. There is a scoring sheet that you can do them on. You get points even for like appearing in live chats or posting layouts to galleries, commenting on other people's layouts, that kind of stuff. So, but it's just crazy fun to look at some of the things. So I know there's stars on the layout. There's green on layouts. And so I can use stars here. I can add stars like this. And then I can, I could also do it in another format. So I'd be able to count 1 star for the star paper. If I use these puffy stars, I could count another. You can't count more than like 1 type of a thing. But if I did a green star, I would get a point for green as well too. So I get a point for green here and a point for green there. So anyway, so long story short, as I explained that whole thing, film strips are on Calvin ball in the points right now. And I also just saw this one. So this one might be a little bit more appropriate than the silver one. Maybe I'll incorporate both. Maybe I'll incorporate neither of them. We'll kind of see what happens. I do like the idea of using this lined paper. I don't love this top. So I think as I'm working right away, I'm going to just cut that top off and we'll deal with that. And you guys, my Chamel collections, I think this is from her box of crayons collection. I just recognize it, but I've got stuff so scattered now throughout. I try to keep it together, but unless it has a strip, I don't know. So this is vintage Chamel. This is from True Stories, which was her second collection. Her first collection was just named Chamel. So anyway, and then this is from a pad, and I don't remember which pad this is from. So too long, but it's time for me to dig into my Chamel product. And when I do my crop in a couple of weeks, I think I'm going to try to make sure that I do some of that as well there. So just trying to figure out how I can maybe use that. I kind of like the idea of that. Now, I don't really want this bird here because this really isn't his passion, and I think the colors here are a little bit bright. So what I'm going to do is kind of do a measure there, figure out about how much space I need, and I think about here. And that should be enough too. Yeah, it will avoid this guy. And this makes a nice sheet, nice little paper or something that I can do there as well. So this is what I'm left with. I am going to cut this off though too, because that second bold vertical line was actually distracting me from the thing. And then I'll keep this too, because this is like a little label journaling thing you could journal with. I know that there's not any more Chamel coming, so I'm less likely to hang, what do I want to say? I don't throw things away quite as easily. Okay, so there's this and this. Now, so I could still add in that. We'll see what happens as I go through. I did call this Look at the Stars, and I still may call it that way, but this came up at the stars and not down on your feet. And maybe I could still pull that out of here and just bring it up at the top or something like that. Use it for a title. This is coming from the True Stories collection as well. The Darjeeling paper. from 2014, you guys. It's time it gets on a layout. So let me get this cut and then I'll catch up. Hey, Tammy, good to see you. All right. So I told you guys early on that I printed photos. I printed 566 photos. And that isn't even all I need to print. I've still got more, which is crazy. Okay, so kind of liking what's going on here. I did grab some tags. I grabbed this because I thought I could use that as a journaling card, but I think we'll use that paper. But then I found like this little piece. This is from Little by Little that says "Believe in Yourself," and I think that might help bridge some of the gap up here, maybe. So I don't know. I also may still end up the paper that I've mounted this on. I may shorten this up a little bit as we go. We'll see. See what happens. Sometimes as I start layering, when I have elements like this, and I do this often with Maggie Holmes, they start to get big. The clusters start getting big. So we'll see. And maybe, I actually kind of like it this way. I like the look up at the stars and then the believe in yourself together like that. And I'm thinking my relationship with the believe in yourself is more, I'm thinking more like that film strip represents him being famous someday. Not that I, would put that kind of pressure on him, but I like to have things relate together. I don't like them to just be. Okay, so these are cut aparts. They're not die cuts. I did grab this little create one, which is another green, but not a green that's appeared on this layout yet. So this may not work in the end. We'll see. And then these little cut apart tags from something. It's from a pad. I don't know which collection. But I will, if I use these, which I think I'm going to do, I will punch a hole and then put some twine in them. And I'm kind of liking how they look up there. I think there's a nice little cluster starting to happen up here, and maybe the photo comes up a little bit further here. Okay, starting to like the way that looks. And that's kind of what happens. Tammy said she's got a few hundred too. I have the 500 that I just printed, and I'm working on editing the next set, which I think is another couple hundred. And editing for me really tends to just be getting them onto a 4x6 canvas, because otherwise you can't, they don't print right. So I like this Shine Brightly too. I'm gonna trim this. Just give myself a straight edge, and we'll see what happens. And I can always, let's see, I can always shorten this up if I want to do that. It's a lot of words close together, but I'm okay with that, I think, here. I like also that this is gray and that's gray. Now I'm feeling like I need another, so I could journal down here, and then I'm feeling like I need another something there. Right now this green isn't working for me very well, but we'll see. There is a red star here. I don't really have a lot of red in here yet. So let's see, we have that die cut and it's a film strip, so I like that idea. Let's see what else I have in here that I might be able to use on this edge. And that's what I kind of do, is I'll just go through, what do I have here? I do like these little pieces, but that's not, there's a little red, but I don't know that that works so well. A little everyday is special. Anyway, so plan. I like this feel the music piece, but that'll blend in a lot there. And I think that's starting to get kind of big. I mean, it's not bad here. Yeah, I just do, Nancy, I just do my prints at Walmart because here's the deal. I know they may not be the best photo quality, but I print hundreds of prints at a time. And, you know, they've got a lot of photos. Ooh, this is going to be cool because he's not 6 here though. He's 5 because his birthday was in March. So that won't work. But I have to remember that that exists. Anyway, they have lots and lots of photos, so I'm not worried that they're not going to have, like, something will happen to them all. Do kind of like that piece. That could sneak up in here maybe, although then that's a lot of gray. I'm trying to think about balancing that gray right there. Maybe this will work. And what I will probably do in the end is ink this all. Yeah, I kind of actually like that. So now I'm thinking this side, some yellow, some blue would be nice. I can go back and look and see if I can find any more of those tags. A little wood veneer. Just kind of thinking color now, and so there is this yellow ampersand, and what I could do here, if I don't find any other yellow, I'm going to just throw this create in since I don't think I'm going to use that on here. What I could do is cut out around the outside of that and bring that yellow here, and I'm going to do that now that I'm thinking about it. This peach isn't on here, but there is like a really orangey color there. I'm just gonna shadow this a little bit. This is hard to do because I'm cutting all sorts of, you know, circular, on a circular kind of line here. So what you want to keep in mind is that you keep your scissors straight and that you move the paper, which I'm semi-successful with. What also helps is if you keep your elbow tucked into your side, like my hand is not moving here at all. It's totally happening from my left hand, my cutting hand, so my right hand is not moving. It's all happening on my left hand. Now, if I didn't need that yellow border, I just cut right at the edge of that ampersand, but I want the yellow border in this particular case. So you just kind of, so I didn't do that there. Now there'll be a little bit of that part there won't be as smooth. If you don't move the scissors and you move the paper, you get really smooth parts, you get really smooth edges here. So, but you know what? Not too bad. And I really like how that's pulling yellow and yellow there. Thinking maybe I'll look for some tags. I'm going to grab that folder again and see if I have any of those tags left. I don't think I do, but can't hurt to look, right? That's kind of a cool, do I want that stripe in here? No, actually, I really don't want that stripe in there because that's going to be scary with that. So I need to build a little bit more on that bottom. because otherwise it's really weighty at the top here and not at the bottom. I'm really kind of looking for tags. This is another light bulb. I don't know that I need that there. I do like this Love You Forever. Like I could tuck that in. Let's see how I think about this when I have it cut out. This sheet, I think, is from True Stories as well. Yeah, it was supposed to actually be cut out, and it didn't get cut out. I have a yellow heart up there, too. And then I actually, on this sheet, have some hearts in that sort of aqua color, so I think that might be fun to use. Let's see. And I'm thinking I should bring back some of those LE Studio Stars, bring those back in. Just going through. So this goes with this. There's an arrow there. There's a little piece that says "You will go far," so maybe I'll hang on to that. Actually, I can get it off of that piece. I also have cameras here, which would coordinate with those colors. And I might be able to use those to fill space if I can't find any more tags. I don't remember where these tags came from originally. I know it was on a cut apart, but I don't remember which one. And that happens, right? All the other colors seem a little bit brighter. So let's go. Okay, so we have this piece that maybe to get in. Hey, Barb. And this is kind of what I do, is I just start pulling things that I think work. Sometimes they make it on the layout, sometimes they don't. And then just cut. And then put them on the layout, and if they don't work, they don't work. They can live to see another day. This has more of that peachy color in it now too. Okay, I like that. I'm now missing peach up here. So we could do that with a camera. I have a gray, red, navy camera. So this is not exactly peach, but the color's not too bad. And I'm thinking actually I'm going to change that camera to this one so that I don't want to put, oh, actually then I pull the gray out. Actually, maybe I do want to do that. I was thinking this camera first, but now I'm thinking the other camera, and this one may go on the bottom. Like we could pull, oh, I like that. We could pull that in, and then pop that in. Still no tags, but I think we're doing okay without them. I do tend to keep sheets like this that are full of cameras and that kind of stuff, and I tend to do exactly what I'm doing. Cameras, the Polaroid frames, tags, I keep those and don't use them as full sheets. I usually cut them apart. And on this one, I cut through this so fast I made a bit of a mess of it. Okay. Kind of tuck that in. So color-wise down here, I think I'm missing a little bit of navy actually. And maybe there is another navy, there's a navy camera here. So maybe I need to grab that one. And then what I just do is if I don't use them, I just throw them into one of my little die cut boxes. Okay, so let's get rid of that. All of this barb is Chamel. So I'm not sure exactly what collections these are, because some of this stuff is not labeled anymore, and some of it was definitely from 12 by 12 pads. I suspect that this was either, that camera sheet was either from her original collection or True Stories. And I think it's True Stories, but I don't remember. So everything I'm using right now is Chamel. I haven't pulled anything out that isn't. I was looking earlier, I think if you've joined me a little bit later, I was looking earlier as I was thinking about doing this tonight and thought, what collections have I not used in a while? And Chamel came to mind. Okay, I like that a little bit better because I like how that's pulling in the navy here. And then I'm not loving that Polaroid frame up there anymore. I'm going to pull that off and see what I think. Yeah, I think it's a little bit better without this. I did it, I think, to pull in more yellow, but I don't think I need it any longer. So looking pretty good to me. The one thing, let's see, one thing I'm thinking about is the hearts would be good because then I could do smaller things. I'm going to pull in this camera. I'm going to put over here because it goes better with the colors from those first collections. I don't really have them necessarily by collection, but more colors. This is cute. It says, I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of the stars makes me dream. I don't think that'll work on that one. There's a little more green. That may not make sense though, because there is a little bit of green in his, but there's not really any of that green anywhere else. I guess this is actually green. Just looking to see, this is her, with Chamel's travel collection is where this stuff is coming from. Okay. And I don't think I'm going to find any more tags like those tags up there were. Okay, so I think next thing that I could do is look at what am I doing with the hearts that I talked about on this. And there is a big peach one, which I like the idea of that. Maybe this big one is too big, but there's a, actually, there's one that's attached to a red. Some of these are attached, but I can probably use this anyway because I'm going to tuck it. So I'll play with a little bit of this. And even if I don't tuck it, I think it'll be fine. And again, tucking my arm, my right arm, moving the paper with my left hand and trying not to move the scissors as much as I can. So then I think this will pull that in there a little bit more. Maybe we can grab these and pull them together a little bit. There we go. And then down here, maybe some of that bluey gray color would be good down here. And maybe even, there's a gray heart here too. So let's see, maybe that bluey gray here, gray up there. Actually, this is actually more teal, not bluey gray. I do have a yellow one too on this sheet. And then these are the things that I might pop up. Oh, and if Harmony was watching this, I'm using hearts and stars together again. Yay me. But I do want to add some heart, stars on this too. Just because that's the kind of the, especially because it's the title here. I may need to use the lighter one. That's okay. No problem, Barb. If nothing else, you know where in your old stash to look for, right? Amy Tangerine used to have sheets of cameras too. I don't think she's doing any more scrapbooking supplies. Not like she used to anyway. Okay, so kind of liking that. I'll define this all more, and obviously things are shifting and that kind of stuff, which is okay because I'll keep working on that as I put things together here. I'm going to grab, not loving how dark this is. I'm seeing too much of that. So what I think I'm going to do is this one here, and maybe the gray one. I have navy, but I think gray. So I think if I do the navy, you'll see it maybe too much. And what I'll do is as I add the pieces, I think I'll be inking. I'm seeing, it's not that they're, well, they are different collections, but I'm seeing too much of the white core of paper here. Yeah, this will be good. And what I'm also thinking about doing is adding stars in the spots that the hearts are. I might have some navy stars left from my LA Studio Christmas stuff too. That'll probably be, ooh, that was a badly cut heart. I'm not following my own advice. Edges, these are really wonky, and they will, they'll be more pronounced once I start inking them, but that's okay. All right, I think it's time. I feel pretty good about, I have colors represented, that I have enough embellishments here. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is grab this out of here, and I'm going to grab my Memento Dewdrop ink in gray flannel. And I don't need to ink the bottom edge because you won't see that. I am going to need to ink the edge of the paper, which is a little scary for me. So pop that one back. Ah! And try not to destroy everything I've done with the clusters here. And I'll obviously refine these as I'm putting things back, but I'd like to get some decent idea of what's going on here. Okay, so let's get, I'm gonna bring that, so I'll change the title of this to Look Up at the Stars. Now, what I might do here is build everything on this and then ink like everything on it and then do all the inking and everything, but maybe we'll see. Sometimes I'll do this where I build the whole layout and then I glue it on the paper. I just did that the other day with something I did for a video. Okay, I think I have a pretty good handle on how this is going to go, and that will move as I do it, as I put things, oh no, on there. Had a little tape on the photo, so I'll have to change that. And this one I'm going to bring up to the top edge. Let's grab this one, we'll ink it. And this kind of stuff too, if this turned out to be too long and stuck out of the edge somewhere, I would literally just cut it off because you're not going to know it's hiding under other things. Okay, so this one, I feel like I want this to sit here, and let's see what happens. If I bring this up, and the cameras come up and the hearts come up. And I do want to have room to journal down there, so that's good. I'm also going to try not to trap space here. So if I bring this out here, you see how that little piece of paper is just hanging out by itself? If I move it in just a little bit when I put this down, I won't trap that space. That's what they mean by trapped white space when they talk about that. And I did not ink that die cut. I don't think I'm going to either. I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. So then I like how this kind of overlaps the film strip and that paper, both. So let's go back here. Maybe actually, I'm just going to cut this edge off here. You won't see it no matter what, no matter where I put this ampersand. I just like the idea of moving this in a little bit closer, maybe covering that camera, and then the hearts go on top is what I'm thinking for now, but we'll see what happens. I do this kind of things with Maggie Holmes die cuts and cut aparts a lot. She has lots of, well, Shamel did too. Chipboard and stickers and all sorts of things that you can use to create clusters. But with Maggie Holmes stuff, I kind of like it because it's very vintagey looking. Okay, the other thing I'm doing here is trying to get rid of this angle. I may not be able to, actually I could. If I bring this up, bring that, and then I'll get rid of the edges. So I don't mind square edges, but I don't like too many of them. And that's a personal preference. Now I was talking about popping some of this stuff up on some foam tape, but right now I'm not doing it because I think the hearts are going to be covered by stars. Okay, these are really badly cut hearts, so I might not like them, but we're going to deal with it. I was doing it a little bit too fast and not paying enough attention. So they're a little wonky, like this one's a little squared on this edge here. So let me round that off a little bit. Okay, so this is the bigger of the two. That one's going to overlap it. So we'll just get that done. I sometimes will not put a lot of tape down and stuff. See what I meant by the way, I'm really building this all on this piece here, and then I'll play with it. Like right now, as I'm looking at this, I think I had this sitting here like this, and I feel like I want to move this up just a little bit to get rid of that bright pink star. And then we'll see what happens if that holds. It's purpley pink. Yeah, no, it's pink. And I do still have to ink those edges, which I probably am going to do next. Okay, and then this got a little bit, that edge got a little wonky too. We're embracing wonky edges tonight. If I decide not to add puffy, I got a little overzealous with that. Now I really want to add a star there because that I got ink on it kind of in a funny manner. Okay, let's do, I'm going to ink this top here just a little bit more. Didn't get very inked. And then I'm going to come back along this edge. With this top part of top cluster, I think that is going to have to be done not just on the matting paper, because there's a lot of stuff that sits out here. So it'd be good if I kind of decided where this goes now. All right, so I said I wanted to get rid of that edge. Let me put this stuff back on here. These need to be punched. And maybe what I'll do while I'm just doing this is maybe I'll ink all of these so that I can just put them on when I'm ready. And obviously they make the tags look, those tags obviously are not real tags, but I think it helps if you punch that out. And then you can use them like you would a real tag. Okay, so that gray, bringing that gray back in. This color brings a little bit of this into the background, a little bit of that. And I'm really just inking these not to bring collections together, because this is all Chamel, although they are different collections. But I'm doing it because as I'm cutting these, I don't like the white edge. And it just gives it a more finished appearance. Okay. You guys, we're getting closer to Disney trip number 2. I saw M3, my granddaughter, today, and we were talking about what she wanted to see. And she said she really wants to see Ariel, because Ariel was only in the parade when we were there in November, but she's back in her grotto, for those of you who know Disney. And then I also think, I haven't asked my daughter-in-law about this, but I bet this is true. Ariel is like a perfect time, was probably really big when she was little. If I remember correctly, that is true. Okay, so we're gonna just pull these in there. I have this camera. Like, where does that go? That's going to help determine how these sit in here as well. Actually, I liked it better the way it was. Actually, though, I do have these hearts too. So if I do those hearts, they can sit in here like that. Perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is hold as much of this stuff as I can and start gluing. And what I'll probably have to do is eventually glue more at the bottom. Okay. Glue this, believe in yourself. Yikes. This needs to come over a little bit further. And this yellow was wonky on there, and somehow I messed that up. So let's try this again. Okay, I think that's better. I can always move those if I need to. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there. Get that sitting in there, and then see. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, and oh, I keep shifting that entire cluster, so I need to get that glued. There, now it'll stay. Okay. So the one thing I'm not loving here is the edge of that camera is lining up with the edge of that blue tag. So I'm going to move this just a little bit. So now that I don't know if you guys can even see this on film, but now I moved it just a little bit that one direction, and it's made a big difference. Okay, I'm going to pick this whole thing up now. And lots of glue to the back. Sorry, guys. So I get that to stay down, and whew, those patterns are scary together, aren't they? So that's what I mean by building that whole entire cluster, or those clusters. Okay. Sorry, you guys. I'm going to take a drink. And I don't have any water here. I only have a glass of wine. So that's what I'm drinking it out of. I do like that I have this space here just to write a little bit. This feels like there's a lot of little pieces up here. And not loving that. I don't know. It feels like so many tiny little pieces. That doesn't feel like so many pieces for some reason. Okay, this needs to get glued down too now. Maybe that heart needs to just come out. Yeah, I think that really helped. I know I put this heart up in here because of this peachy pink down here, but I think the red is okay, that it's pulling in that sort of pink element, and I think it's fine. All right, this needs to be glued down here too, just to get that a little bit more secure. Then let's grab I'm gonna grab my twine so I can get those in, because that'll help me decide. Once, I don't want to put the stars in until I get the twine on. And maybe, I think I'm going to use this, because that's a nice soft aqua color. Look at this. This is a Hobby Lobby roll, and they were full. Obviously, I used that color a lot. And I probably cut way too much twine here, but that's okay. Okay, there's that one. This is probably more appropriate. And then this one. Would have loved another tag, but I didn't have one, so I could put it in the bottom. So that's just how we roll here tonight. Okay, then color-wise, there's an aqua. There's some gray. It's a pretty bright aqua. I have navy, which I think I'd like that. Let me grab my Christmas Ellie Studio stars, because I think this actually, I think, came from that pack. I feel like they need to be less, that other sheet is pretty bright, and this is really soft. Oh, thanks, Barb. So let's do that. So these came from Ellie Studios Christmas assortments. There is some gray in here too, so I might be able to make that work. The pink is not going to be right. Let's see, I like this one, but maybe up here. It's a little bit bigger, and it starts to hide some of those crazy wonky edges I have up there. I have black. Now I happen to have 2 sheets of these, so, oh, this is good, because here's another one, and I'm thinking maybe I can use one of the bigger ones there and the smaller one down here to hide that problem I had. So 3, if that's all I want to do. I do have some stars in polka dots here. But it feels like, as I'm putting more on, it's starting to feel like it's too much. That I just like that little bit of little bits of puffy stars. And I'm gonna try to, this is not tape down very well at the moment. So if I attach it to the back of that and maybe get just a little piece there, that'll tape down. I can always come back with my glue too once we're off camera. Okay, liking that. This is also not done. And again, just a little bit about, I can talk to him a little bit about how I like how he's interested in things. Now, the other thing I could come back and do is if I have this pale peachy color, I think I could do that in enamel dots pretty easily. I don't know if I have that pale peachy color though. But I'm gonna look in my Altenew assortment because that's not quite, but it's close. That's probably more what it is. That peachy color there is more what it is. Just kind of checking it out. This is even more pale. That feels a little orange though. This feels a little, yeah, this feels a little orange. Okay, let's do that. Let's add some enamel dots and see what I think. So this is Altenew Tea Party. And I think I'm going to stay small with these enamel dots. The size of this one is probably better up here, but actually I like it down there better. And I think I want to do 3. So probably one up there somewhere. They're skating off the sheet on me. And then one down here. So we have 3 here. And this is all really old. I don't remember when Chamel did her first collection, but if True Stories is 20, what did I say, that's 2014? Yeah, so 2013 or 2014. And look at how beautifully that blends. Just goes to show you, you can still use old product. It doesn't matter. Okay, so there's that. Maybe this guy needs to, I'd like to keep, oh, I have to be careful because I want you to be able to read that as a heart. It's contrasting so much with that. Let's see, and I did float one of these. A lot of times I like to put stuff on edges, but I did float that one. Let's see if I can put a big one up here and then just use some smaller ones down here. I may not, we'll see. I may not like that in the end, but try and see. Oh, right there. There we go. There's less contrast with that big one up here, I think. Maybe even, there we go. That can go there. I think that blends in a little with the yellow and I like the way that looks. And it's just a little bit off from that, like they're not in a straight line. All right, so there we go. Using really old Chamel product and blending in collections by using my ink, but also taking away the white edges and adding in. So as I was talking about Calvin Ball, I get points for the star paper. I get points for the puffy stars. This die cut, and I like the way this one looks better than I think the gold one would have. This die cut, and it's a film strip. There's the word stars on here I can use. Lots of fun stuff. Little green in his, little green there, and this is green too. When you look at it, this is definitely green. So anyway, so Calvin Ball on the Scrap Happy website. Check that out. It's just a raucous good time. It's craziness, and it's really only bragging rights, and I never care. I just have a really good time challenging myself, and it's kind of what I did tonight too. Is I haven't used this. It comes from a couple of different, haven't used Chamel in a while, comes from a couple of different collections, and I just love how this looks with this sweet photo of M number 2. All right, you guys, I'm going to only do one layout tonight. It was great seeing you again. Not sure what my plans are for next weekend. I don't know if I'm going to be live or not. I forgot to check before I started. Actually, I might be able to tell you now that I think about it. Let me take a look and see if I'll be able to be here next weekend. I think I can, actually. I think I might see you next Friday. That would be really a rare occasion where I see you 2 Fridays in a row, but I think I will be able to do that unless something comes up in between. Last weekend, I unexpectedly had my 4 grandkids, or not 4 grandkids, I had 2 of the 4 grandkids last minute. So anyway, so hopefully I'll be back with you next Friday night. It was great to do this. I miss this when I don't get to scrap with you guys on Friday night. I really, seriously, I know that might sound a little crazy because, but it's fun. I like doing that, and I like the process. So anyway, you guys, take care, and I will see you back here again soon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.